Hello and welcome. My name is Chidabel Arinze and I will be your instructor in today's class. Okay. In this session, we are going to dive into the core tools and techniques for data analysis in Excel. We'll be covering how to filter and sort your data, explore essential functions like if functions, if, count if, and sum if, and you also master the powerful lookup functions like VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, and the XLOOKUP, though the XLOOKUP is only available for recent version of Microsoft. So we may not be able to see how that works in this class. It's only available in the newer versions. Okay, so these are fundamental skills for anyone working with data in Excel. Okay, so let's move to the introduction to preparing for analysis. So before we jump into the tools, it's important to have a plan. Understand? Just like a builder needs blueprints before you start building, a data analyst need a clear understanding of the goals. Okay, so we have already discussed data collection and cleaning in previous sections. Now we need to decide how we are going to analyze the data. Okay, so ask yourself these questions. How big is the data set? Before you start, before you actually start working with data, you need to ask yourself few questions. How big is the data set? Okay, what kind of filtering do you need? How should I sort the data? What calculations are required? Okay, and most importantly, what do I want the final result to look like? Okay, visualizing your desired output is crucial before you start manipulating the data. Okay, so a clear vision helps you choose the right tools and avoid unnecessary steps. So these are questions you need to ask yourself before you actually start analyzing your data so that it could give you a clear visions. Okay, so you can as well avoid unnecessary steps or wasting time while analyzing your data. So here is the basic. Okay, we will discuss about the basic data manipulation. In our previous class, we will see how filtering and sorting, doing data cleaning, and even doing the entry data entry class. All of these classes we have been touching filtering and sorting, filtering, especially filtering. Okay, but we are going to explore it more. Understand? So we start with this basic filtering and sorting. Okay, these are fundamental tools for organizing and exploring your data. Okay, so sorting arranges your data based on specific criteria. Sorting, we are talking about filtering and the sorting, but you need to understand the difference between filtering and the sorting your data. So what sorting does is that it arranges your data based on specific criteria, okay, either alphabetically or numerically. Okay, this can help you quickly identify patterns or find specific items. Okay, if you want to find the specific items on your data, you can sort your data, okay, to help you find it quickly. Understand? Depending on the your criteria, the specific criteria that you choose. Okay, so filtering allows you to temporarily hide rows that don't need or don't meet your criteria. You see what filtering does? Sorting helps you to arrange your data on a specific based on a specific criteria. But filtering allows you to temporarily hide rules, some rules out of your data that don't meet your criteria. You saw how we use filtering to filter blank, that's no values or blank cells in a cell. You see how we are able to use it to filter it out then before we clear it out. Okay, so you can focus. This filtering helps you to focus on a subset of your data. Okay, so let's see how that works again, even though we have practiced that in the previous class. So here we have a data set of cells orders. Okay, let's say we want to check for duplicate order numbers. Okay, we want to check duplicates. Remember, checking duplicate is part of data cleaning. We have discussed that in the previous class. Okay, so first we will sort the data by the order number. Okay, this is the order number, right? We want to sort the data by the order number column. So we will select any cell in the order number. Okay, let's say row 2 of the column B. where we found the other number. So we select any cell in that other number column, then go to the data tab. You go to the data tab and click either sort, look at either sort A to Z or Z to A. That is depending if you want to sort ascending or descending. Okay, so let's sort Z to A, down to A. Now the data is sorted. If you look at it, the data is sorted. Okay, so we sort it descending in descending order. That is why you have to see the highest value. Okay, so it moves down in descending order. You have to see the highest value first, then the lowest value. If you sort it in the ascending order, you have to see the lowest value. So depending on what you want to find, if you want to find maybe the maximum or the minimum of the value. Okay, sorting can help you to find this value immediately. If I want to find the minimum value of the other number, I can use the sorting to sort my data and I can find the maximum or the minimum like this. Okay, so now the data is sorted, as you can see, numerically by order number. Okay, any duplicate order number will appear next to each other. Okay, so if you have any duplicate data here now, it can easily be found. Okay, probably there might not be duplicate, but in the situation if we have this 1001 twice, you can easily find it because they have been sorted. So that means they will be, according to each other, they will be, there is no actual mistakes here. But if to say, I think this data has no, the other number has no duplicate, otherwise we would have been able to locate it easily. That's why sorting is very, very, very important, okay, because it makes them easy to spot. Okay, now let's say we only want to see orders from November. Okay, we want to see only orders from November. We add a filter to the data. Okay, so we will go to the data tab again. We are in the data tab, then we click on filter. Okay, notice that if you click on filter, you will notice the drop down arrows that appear in the column headers. Okay, so we will click the drop down in the month ID, in the month ID, or in the month. We have month ID. You can see, give me a moment, let me enlarge this so that we can be able to see everything. Okay, so the month ID, okay, this is the month column, and where's the month ID? This is the month column. Let me go for that. Okay, this is the month ID. So we can either use the month column or the month ID, whichever one you use. 11 or 10 represent October. So let's for instance use the okay, let's use the month ID. So in the month ID, then we can uncheck the boxes. Remember how we are able to do that? I think this data is loading. Let's give it a moment, please. Mm, this data is loaded. Stop taking time to load. Okay. Um, you see why when you're working with larger data, the loading time could be, it could take more time trying to load. Okay. I don't know, this should stop. Let me clear the filter and try it again. Okay. All right. Why is this happening? It's actually wasting my time. Okay. Okay. So we want to select November in this case. If we are using the month ID, probably you will select either 10 or 11. But on this case, you have to uncheck the select all, then we'll select November. Okay, so you only want to filter, want to see. Remember, we say we want to check only the November month. So by doing so, we have been able to filter out based on the only we are able to filter out every other information. We only want to see information that falls in the month of November. Okay, so only the orders from November, you can see only the orders in November, from November, are displayed. Okay, the other rows are temporary hidden. Okay, this is how filtering helps you to focus on specific subset of your data. Okay, so to clear the filter, you have to click on the drop down again, click on the drop down, then um, click on the select the check the select all again and click OK. Okay, it will restore the data set to its normal um, how it was earlier before. Okay, so the next thing we want to discuss is a solve function. Let's move on. Okay, SL functions, introduction and importance of these functions. Okay, so the reason why I rush the filtering and sorting is because we have discussed that earlier before. But I hope you understood what I explained here about sorting and filtering. How you can use, if you want to sort, how you can use sorting to arrange your data to based on a certain criteria. But filtering, you may just want to filter out, okay, some specific data. You may just want to temporarily hide some rows of your data. That's what differs filtering and sorting. Sorting helps you to arrange your data based on specific criteria, just like we did with the, you can see the other number, we have sorted it on a descending order. Okay, so we have arranged our data to be in this format on a descending order. Okay, but filtering helps you to filter out, to remove rules that you don't need. You just want to see specific rules that you want to work with. Okay, that's for the filtering and the sorting. Now let's go to Excel functions, their introduction and their how important it is for us. So Excel functions are pre-built formulas, like I have already told us in the previous classes. Functions are pre-built formulas that perform specific calculations or tasks. Okay, they are already built in for us. Okay, so they are essential for data analysis because they automate complex calculations and saves you a lot of time and effort. Okay, so imagine trying to calculate the average of 100 numbers manually, or it will be tedious and prone to errors. Okay, functions like average, like I think we have discussed average functions previously, can do this in a single step. Okay, so Excel has hundreds of functions categorized by their purposes. Okay, if you go to Excel, remember when I told you in our during our formulas and function class, our previous formulas and function class, I showed you these are categories of Excel functions. Okay, the functions are categorized by their purposes. Okay, we have mathematical functions. Okay, as you can see here, we have statistical functions, we have financial functions, logical functions, date and time, and more. Okay, you can find all of these functions here. These are the categories under the function library. Okay, so learning to use these functions effectively is crucial for data analysis. Okay, so let's say we want to find the average revenue for the month of June. Okay, okay, we don't have, I think we only have November, and let's say I want to find the average revenue for the month of November, since we have worked with November area before. Okay, so how are we going to do that? Okay, we could manually add up all the revenue numbers for November and divide by the count. But that would be a lot of work. Understand? Like I told you, these functions are pre-built for us so that it carries out these tasks without, without us manually doing these tasks. Okay. So instead of doing these tasks manually, we will use the average function. Okay. So let's say in a blank cell, for instance, let's say in this, let me before we okay, let's say in this cell over here. Sorry, let me continue. I don't know why this data is giving me headache. Okay, why is not the loading time is always taking time? Let's say you want to find what's happening. Let me see if I can work with another data. Okay. Let's say we want to find the average here. What is this? I don't know why this data is it the loading or something? It's giving me a headache to select what I want to select. Give me a moment. Let me see if I can sort this out. Can you imagine? Should I? Let me see if I can start. Let me end this. Just give me a moment. Um, that's it. Let me open this file again. Try giving me a headache. I don't know if it is the loading time or something. So let me okay. Um, okay. So we want to find okay. We want to find the average revenue, right? So before that, okay, okay, this is the revenue column. So before we want to find the average revenue, we start with equal to, right? Then average function, right? Remember, the moment you start typing, Excel will automatically suggest the functions for you. So let's say we want to find it from K2, right, to K24. Just manually typing this, but it's all the same. You see, automatically once I finish, it will automatically highlight the cell for me. Now we have found the average for specifically for all of these data for both November, October. Now we will need to let me filter out. This is how you can be able to do this, but there are functions that you can use to do this without having to go through this process. But I just want to use this before we get there. We will discuss about these functions coming up. But I just want to show you how you can also get the average of a specific month using the filtering and the function at the same time. So we want to filter this data and we want to filter out only want to see the um, November column, right? So like this, we'll be able to find under the revenue. I'm coming. Let's equal to average. Okay. Then then we can drag and press enter. So like this, we'll be able to see the for average revenue for the month of November alone using the average functions without us having to um, manually doing the mathematics that is involved here. Okay, so Excel will calculate the revenue for November as we can see here. So see how much simpler it is than doing it manually, where you have to maybe you bring your book, you start doing the calculations and all that. So there is even a faster way we can do this without having to manipulate the data, because what we just did now, filtering the data out to get the November, we are actually manipulating the original data to give us just the month of November. Okay, so, but there are other ways we can be able to do this without having to manipulate the data first. But we will see how that works in later on in this class. So functions are your friends. Okay, when it comes to data analysis, I didn't want us to go for that discussing the sum, average, and all that because we have discussed that in our previous class when we had um, a function formulas and function class. Okay, so let me quickly remove the filter just like I told you. If you want to remove the filter, you can use the clear filter as well, or you can also use this. You can check the select all again to retain back the filter. So I wouldn't want. Let me undo. Okay. Okay. We wouldn't want the average that we just did to remain there. Okay. So the next thing we want to talk about is the if function. Let's see how if function works. Okay. So the if function is a fundamental logical function in Excel. Okay. It allows you to make decisions based on whether a condition is true or false. Okay, that's what if function does. It is a logical, just like the name logical, logic. Okay, it's a logical function in Excel. You want to know if this condition is true or if the condition is false. Okay, so if it is true, do this. If it is false, do this. That's what it is. So the if function has three parts. Okay, the condition you are testing. Okay, it has three parts. As you can see, the condition that you are testing, that you want to test. Okay, that's number one. Then the value to return. This is the value to return if the condition is true. Okay, then and the value to return if the condition is false. So it has three parts. The if function. Okay, it has three parts. It's like saying if this is true, then do this, else do that. Okay, if this is true, then do this, else do that. Okay, if his name is Mike, do this, else do that, something like that. So let's move to Excel and see how that works. Okay. Okay, so let's say we want to add a column that indicates whether an order has been shipped. Okay, we will use we use the if function to check the status column. Okay, if you look at, we have the status column, you can see if the order has been shipped or not. Okay, so we use the if function to check this status column. Okay, so we will insert a new column next to the status column. Remember how I told you how if you want to insert a new column, you have to select the column at the right, of that particular column you want to insert column to. Then after selecting the column, you right click, then click insert. It will insert a new column for us. Okay, so we want to check if we want to use the if function, okay, to add a column that indicates whether an order has been shipped or not. Okay, so we use the if function here to check this status, this particular status column. Okay, we want to check if the order has been shipped or not. Okay, so let's name this column shipped. Okay. Okay, so let's just name it shipped. So this is to tell us whether yes, it has been shipped or no, it has not been shipped. Okay, so in the first cell here, so I have already selected the first cell of the new column. Okay, I'll type equal to if. Okay, select the tab to automatically select the function that you want. Okay, so I will now click on this first cell. It's like saying if this first cell of the status column, understand, then before the next value. So I just want us, let's follow it one after the other. Before, I don't want to go straight. I want to, each one I select, I will explain it to you. So I've selected the first cell of the status and I'm telling this particular shift column if this status column, now what's the condition we want to assign to it? Okay, after you have selected the first column, so you now press comma. Okay, so if this, then you, after you have sorry, sorry, after you have selected the if, then then show the first cell that you want to look into. Okay, so if you want to look into if this, I mean to say, is equal to, understand, not comma, if you want to, is equal to, what do I want to assign to it? Is it shift? Is it not shift? Depending on what is inside the status. So if this status is, first of all, start with a quote. You have to put it inside a quote because it is a string. Okay, it is a string. So whenever I want to type a string, you put it inside a quote. So if the selected cell is shift, okay, is shift, right? Then make sure it is inside the quote. Okay, then put the comma, then another quote, yes, This is like let me use the small let me capitalize it instead of uppercase. Okay. So it's like saying if this is chipped, say yes. Okay. Then I will now put another comma. Okay. Then the next remember the value that I want if the condition is not true. Okay, what will I want it to say? Is it no or false, whichever one I want to? So on this case, I want to say, since I'm using yes or no. So the next condition that if it is not true, it will say, let me correct this because it will throw an error. Let me correct this. Okay, yeah. So if the value, if it finds cheap there, it will say yes. But what if it doesn't find cheap? What will it tell us? So in this case, it will be no. Remember, because it's a strange, you have to put it inside a quote. Then I'll close the parenthesis and I'll say enter. You see, you say yes. Why? Why is it yes? Because it found exactly the condition I gave it. Right? Understand? If I have made that mistake, for instance, if I have made that mistake in the spelling, it will say no because this is not the same. It will say no. So you have to be careful while typing so that you don't make typo errors. Okay. So on this case, it is yes because the condition here matches what I gave it. Okay. Remember, I said if what is in the status code, this cell, if this cell is the word shipped, tell us yes. But if it is not the word cheat, tell us no. So let me use the fill handle to copy it down and see if, okay, all the information we have here is cheat. Let me manually um, edit this and so you see how this work, not cheat. Okay, so you can see it said no. Okay, all the data we have here are cheap shift. So let me just manually edit some so you can be able to understand. um You see? No. Okay. Remember when we talked about fill handle, just the moment I say not, Excel automatically filled it in for me. I don't even need to type everything. So you can see how some of these cells are those that are not shipped. Sorry, let me correct this spelling again. Those that are not shipped will tell you no. Okay, because they didn't meet the condition. They are false. Okay. So the only ones that are true will tell us yes. Okay. The only ones that are true will tell us yes. Those that are false will tell us no. That is how if function works. Okay. That's how if function works. If this is true, say yes. If this is for if it is false, say no. You don't have to say if this is true, yes. If this, except if you want to, you have a more than one conditions. Okay, more than one conditions you want to look into before you actually decide if it is true or false. That is nested if. When you are working with a nested if, that is where that come into play. But we might see if we can, maybe probably we'll see that in this lesson. So I hope you understand how the if function works. Remember, we use the status, okay, because if function is actually used to find if something met the criteria that you want. Just like, okay, if the amount, let's say for instance, let's say maybe we want to give discounts for instance. Well, let me keep on explaining. Maybe we'll get there, I'll explain it further. I don't like jumping when I'm teaching. Okay, so what happened here is that this formula says if the status shipped, okay, if the status is shipped, then return the value yes, else return no. That's what it does here. Okay, so if you close the parenthesis and press enter, you just see whether it is yes or no, depending. If I did not use the word yes, maybe I say um tell us qualified. Understand? Maybe we are looking for if someone is qualified or not qualified. So I can say if that cell contains maybe a grade, certain grade, okay, or certain experience, say qualified. If the grade doesn't meet the the one we want. Maybe we are looking for someone that has at least 90 and above. So you say if this value is greater than or equal to, you can also use that to find whatever you want to. If function is just to tell you, okay, is this person qualified? Has the order been shipped or not? Does this person deserve a discount or not? With the if function, you can be able to get that information um, quickly. Okay, so now you have a column that clearly indicate whether each order has been shipped or not. Okay, then let's do another example. Okay, let's categorize orders as over 3K or under 3K. So we have our orders, right? Let me look for the orders. We have the orders. This is the order number. Okay, let me use letter, or let me use cells. Let's use the cells column to do this. Okay, I think I didn't add the other column while preparing this data set. Okay, so let's say I want to use the I want to categorize our cells as over 3K. Okay, or let me say over, what criteria can I give it? Okay, let's say it's let's say over 7,000, or that 7,000 is small. Let's say it's over 10,000. What is over 10,000? Make a criteria. Okay, so let's categorize these cells um value, okay, to find if it is over or under 10,000, okay, based on their sales amount. Okay, so okay, we want to actually find our orders based on this sales amount. I think that is why I didn't add the other column again, because I want to look at it, okay, based on the sales amount. So I will insert a new column next to the sales. Okay, I want to insert a new column next to the sales. To do that quickly. Okay, so and I will name it 10K plus, 10K plus. Okay, let me 10K plus. So give me a moment so we can see what we have. All right. Okay. So after I name it 10K plus, okay, or let me say 10K plus or minus, so that it will give us exactly, because we are looking at whether it is plus or minus, right? Okay. So enter. Let me remember, you must not use this method that I'm using. I just want to make sure that I'm, while I'm trying to enlarge this cell, other ones are also in place, as in the, at least the width are uniform. Understand, based on the size of the column value or content inside it. Okay, so in the first cell, I'll start again with if equal to if, then press tab to select. Then I will click on the first sales value. This is the first sales value. Okay, so I will now say, remember, I want to say if it is over 10K. So I will say it's greater than, on this case, if the first cell is greater than 10,000, right? Remember, this is a number, so we don't have to put it inside the quote. You only put strange are text. Another word for strange is text. They are text data. There are different types of data. So you have text, you have numbers, and the text falling as a string, integers as numbers, float as numbers. That's not what I want us to discuss in this class. Okay, so because it is number, I'll just type it. Okay, so if the first cell in the cells column is greater than 10,000, then I will say, now remember this one is strange, so I will say over 10,000, over 10,000. Let me say over 10,000. I will use that. Put it like this: over 10,000 K. Let's just do it like this, okay? Or let me reduce it to 10K. Okay. So if it is above 10,000, say over 10,000 K, okay, then I will put a comma. Then if it is, just say under 10K, under 10K. Okay. then close the parenthesis, then press enter. Okay, so because this value is over 10,000, this is 12,750. It told us over again 10K. That's how it works. So if I use the fair handle, you can be able to see those that are over 10K and those that are under 10K. Okay. Now you have a column categorizing each other based on each cell's amounts. Okay. This is how you can use if function. Understand? Okay. So the next thing we want to, I hope you understand um, everything I explained about the if function. At least we have done two practices using the if functions just to make sure that you understand them in any scenario, whether you are trying to find a situation where you want to know whether the answer is yes or no, or if a certain criteria like the cells that we made for each other, okay, met, maybe we want to see others that met that is over 10K. So if it is over 10K, probably it met whatever you want to use it for at that point in time. Okay, so we are able to see those that met our expectation of having over 10,000 orders. Okay, so I hope you understand the if function. Before we move into the if function, do you understand this explanation?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Okay. So the if function is just like I said, it's just like to tell you if this is true, do this.
Amount.
If this is true, then do this. Otherwise, do that. Okay. If this is true, do this. Else, do that. That's what if function does. Once you understand it, it will help you to write the formula functions clearly. And again, I told you it only has three parts. Okay, it has three parts. These three parts helps you to follow it accordingly. Okay, first is the condition that you are testing. In this case, we want to test this condition, which is the cells in the first cell and the cells column. Okay, then the value to return is over 10K or over 10K if it is true. The value to return, okay, let me use the formula here so that you understand what I'm saying. If this first cell is 10,000, that is the condition we are giving it, okay. Then the next after you put comma is the value to return if the condition is true. Understand? If that condition is true, return this value. And again, the next will be the value to return if the condition is false. You will separate all of these steps, all of these three parts with comma. Understand? For it to and make sure you see when I started, I mistakenly the moment I say if the cell, I put comma, I have not even given it a condition. You can actually make that same mistake. Understand? But when you come across that, I've taught you how you can be able to debug your whether code or functions in Excel. Okay, so let's quickly move to the next topic is ifs. Okay, so the if function is a more streamlined way to handle multiple conditions. Okay, you can actually there is what is called nested ifs. If having if inside if and inside if and inside if, but that would be too long for in a situation. What if the condition you are testing is longer, maybe up to 5 6 or so, we keep on typing it will too long. So the if functions help makes this accessible for us. Okay, so the if function is a more streamlined way to handle multiple conditions. When you have multiple conditions that you want to test, you don't have to nested if can give you that, but it will be a waste of time. Okay, so it's available in newer versions of Excel, so we'll see if that is available in my own cell. Otherwise I will just show you in my own Excel. I'm using Excel 2016. So I'll try it if it works out. Otherwise, I'll just show you how it works. Okay. So while you can let me go back to the slide, finish up the explanation because um you can see what we have on the slide as well. So while you can nest multiple if functions, like I said, you can nest it and nest it. In a situation whereby you don't have the if function, you can actually use the nested if. Okay, so it can become very compressed. Okay, to use that nested if. Okay, the multiple if functions. Okay, it can become very complex and difficult to read. Okay, someone not have to you see so many if it become too compressed and difficult to read. So the if function simplifies this by allowing you to check multiple conditions in a single function. Okay, you don't have to have a function inside a function and inside a function and all of that. Okay, so let's quickly go back to Excel. Okay, so let's see if we can use the if function to categorize orders by size. Okay, whether small or let me see if I add the that I was looking for. I think let me check this startup. I think I skipped adding the size, whether it is small or well, let's see if we can look for another condition. Or maybe I'll use this HP level to do that. Low or high HP or medium HP or something like that. Let me see. I didn't include the sizes or the I didn't include the size. Let me see other I don't think I have it. I don't have it here. That means it is not included. I actually made this data set myself for this class, so I skip adding some of the columns that I might use to explain. So let's see how that was first. So let's say you want to categorize orders by their HP level. Let me see if I can use that one. Okay. Okay, whether it is high HP, low HP, or medium HP. Okay. So let me since there is no column, I'll just add a new column here. Understand? I won't be inserting because there is no all the other columns from here are empty. So instead of inserting a column, I'll call it um, I'll just start typing from here. Then I'll call the column. Let me see, I'll call this or maybe what will I call this now? Let me see HP or level. Let me just HP level or maybe put it a question mark. Okay. I just want to explain, then put a question mark. I don't want to have a long or maybe say what's the HP level, but let's just leave it like this. What did I type? Okay, okay. So let's just leave it like this. Is it HP level or maybe what HP level? I just give it this name. Understand? But whatever data you're working with, determine what you give um the name. Initially, what I wanted to add the sizes of order. That means if a condition, maybe if this order, maybe number of orders, maybe no other number, for instance, if it is maybe below certain amount, we can call it small. It is if it's within this, we can call it large. So that is what I wanted to do, but I didn't add that. But let's see if we can use the HP level. Otherwise, I may do one or two just now before we continue. So in the first cell here, let me type equal to. First of all, let's see if the if function is even available. It's not even available for us, but let me just explain how it works. I will type the function, you will see it here. Understand? But remember the if function, some of these functions is available in the newer Excel version. So depending on the one you are using, I will show you how the formula works. Okay. So we can just like the when we get to the lookup function, the X lookup is only available in the newer version of Excel. Okay. So in this first cell, if you type ifs, let me use the cap lock. So if you type ifs, then the open parenthesis, okay, then you will now enter the condition and the corresponding values. Okay, so you click on the first let me say this HP level. Okay, let me say HP level, then you type if or maybe let me not use this HP level. Let me see if I can use something that has to do with number. Okay, just give me a moment. Let's not use this one. Let's go to the sales amount. We can still use this sales amount. Where is it? Other number, I mean to say, or the sales amount. The sales. Let me use this sales amount. So let's add a column here so that it will give us the explanation that I want. Okay. The condition, that HP level doesn't have a number of condition that I want. Okay. So let's say let's call this order size. Let's call it order size. Order size. Okay. Okay. Let's start that again. Okay. All right. So let's call it order size. So you start with equal to then is. Okay, because it's not available for my own Excel. I just want to show you how it works. Okay. So now we enter our condition, okay, and their corresponding values. So I will click on the first cells. This one, for instance, I'll click on it. Then I'll say if it is less than, let me start with if it is less than um depending on the values we have here, let's say if it is less than um let me see if it is less than 8,000. Let me use it. If it is less than 8,000, or if it is less than, let me see if it's less than 7,000. Okay, if it is less than 7,000 because of the values we have here, so I want to make sure we are working with that. If it is less than 7,000, say small. Okay, then you have to also put another condition. So what makes it different that you have more, it's more than three parts here. You give it the first condition, then you click the cell value again. After selecting, I'll click this cell value again. Okay, I'll click it again, but let me just use the column and the low number because the functions is not a message, so it won't work for me to be able to select it personally. So I'll just click on the cells value again. I want to give it another condition. Okay, so after clicking on the cells again, then another condition I want to give it is if it is less than let's say 9,000. Okay, then if it is less than 9,000, what condition will you give it? I say equal to medium. I'll ask you when I'm done with this, I'll ask you a question to see if you actually understand the difference between the ifs and the if function. So the last condition now is large. Okay, sorry, you have to start with quote. So close the parenthesis. Now I will not press enter because it will throw an error. It will throw a value error because the if function is not in SL 2016. So what this does is like a multiple condition, more than one condition. Okay, it says if this cell is less than 7,000, throws and tell us small. If the cell is less than the same cell is less than 9,000, it is medium. Any other thing that is above that 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 is not within this condition, these two conditions is large. That is what it means. Okay. So if to say I have if function available in my version of Excel, if I press enter, then any condition that is below 7,000 will be small. Just like this value here will be small. This 6,000, it is less than it will throw small. Then this one will throw medium. Then every other thing is large. Okay, so this one small, this one medium, this one medium, this one medium, every other thing is large. That is what it would have given us. Okay, so that's how the is function works. Now I want to ask you a question. What do you think differs the if and is function before we can start? Are you there? I think you are not there. So I'll undo what I just did to show us what the how we can be able to use the if function. Okay, if it is available in your own Excel version, you have seen how you can be able to do that. It is like
I
okay,
say,
if
please
you
repeat
give
your
your
question,
question.
please. Okay. I was just typing what you
Okay,
just did about if, so that let me know if it
okay.
will show or not.
My question was, what do you think that defines the if and the if function? You can see the formula. You can see the formula on the formula bar. Then you have
Mm,
seen how we were able to get the if function. So imagine if you have the if function in your own version of Excel. If you do exactly what I just did here, maybe if you have this data set with you,
mm,
if you do exactly what I did here, you will be able to, see the corresponding, whether it is this value is small or medium or large, whether this value is small or medium or large, that's whichever one. Because remember, okay, I don't want to say this because if I say it, I'll actually answer the question I want to ask. What
yes,
is
yes, yes.
what differs the if and the if function?
Okay. If it's just like, let me just say simply, I want to use for singular. You understand?
Yeah.
Like, let me just say if himself is like finding, like I want to just, it comprises of a little equation. Like, it's not all the equation. What ifs is that you can get all equations in one cells. That like it will answer. Like it will answer, like you can get in ifs, you can get everything in one equation, like in one cells. Like you want to use ifs, you're going to get the small, the medium, or whatever, the large at the same time, and it will mark. But in if, it's just that it's going to give you double or singular equation, like yes or no, or like up or down. It cannot give you more than that. It can only give you two equations at the same time. But ifs can give you more equations or more answers,
So
more
you can
conditions.
use ifs to get more conditions. And if you have more than two conditions, actually, you
Yes,
can
more
use
than two conditions.
if
Ifs.
function. But the if you only want to know if this condition is true or false.
Yes or false,
Yes
yes.
or no. Understand? But with the if function or nested if, understand? You can use it to get if um, the condition is high, low, or medium. Is maybe agree, strongly agree, or less agree.
Okay.
When you in
Okay,
this
yes.
type of situation, where you have more than three, four, five conditions, you want to you can use the nested if. So
Ifs.
what this does is it will first, this is the condition. So it will check the cell. If it match this, okay. If it doesn't match this, it will move over to the next condition. If it doesn't match it, it move over to the next condition. It keep on moving until we find the one that matches it. That is how it works. Okay. So it will first check this. Okay. It doesn't match. If to say we want to, we have more than, let's say it is a situation where you have strongly agree, agree, lightly agree, do not agree, strongly do not, like up to five conditions. You keep on selecting. After you give the first condition, you select the cell again, just like I did here. You select the cell again and put the condition, the value, if the condition is true, until you have finished testing the condition. Then you will now give the last condition. If all of these value I provided, all of this condition is not met. If you cannot find these conditions in the cell, now tell me this. That is how it works. So after it has looked into the cell, and if the value is met this condition here, tells me small. And that if it doesn't met the condition here, it will move to the next available condition that I gave it. Okay. Okay, if you met this one, that means it's going to tell me this. It keep on moving. Understand? Then with the if function, you can see it is clearer than you know nesting ifs inside the function. You keep on nesting and nesting and nesting, and It makes it easier. So that's what differs the if and the if function. The if function, you can use it to test more than one or two conditions.
Two. Okay.
So
Let's see. When I put the formula like the if function, he was saying something. See what he said is that he said there is a problem with this formula, not trying to type a formula when the first character is unequal, blah blah blah. You understand?
okay.
That's what it should be. Okay, the other one he said the first time I pressed the enter, he said just one little word he just said, not this one.
Okay. I don't know. Is it the if or ifs?
Ifs.
Ifs. Okay. Like I said, it could depending on your system or on the version of your Excel.
How can I know the version of this thing that I'm using? Because I didn't see it. Or should I go to detail?
Depends on
How
your
can you?
if
Okay, let
the
me go.
Excel involves you can the version for the web and you just then if you start from that you see maybe 2016, 2019, 2020. Then you also have Microsoft. So it depends on the version. Like me that is using, I'm using the Excel desktop version and 2016. So that's why um, I can't find the if function. If function is not available on the version I'm using. Okay.
Hmm.
So that's about anyone. The
But
reason why I have to show how it works is that anyone who has current version can actually see how they can be able to. Or tomorrow, if you have the version, you actually see how you can use the if function to perform the task. So it will be because I don't have the version, I will no longer treat it in this class. No, that's why it's like that. So,
that's what I'm saying. How can should I go to details or more to know the version that I'm using? Option
is there
to know the version of the Excel that I'm using. Excel
yeah,
is
but okay, how can you know? We discuss that later.
used.
We'll see maybe after this class we discuss. I will first of all I need to know if the Excel you're using is desktop. For instance, now if I come here, if I type Excel, like I want
Hmm.
to open Excel, the name it comes with the whether the version you are using. Like my own is 2016. You can see it. You see Excel 2016.
2016.
You can see it. That's why I'm using the 2016 version. If it is 2019, we would have say 2019 and all that. So if you're using Excel for the web like Microsoft 365 and all that, you will need to sign in. Understand? Or Excel for the web, you need to sign in and maybe if you have a work email or school email and all of that. Okay, or if you are there is one I was using earlier. I don't know. I'll still see if I can get back to it as an Microsoft developer.
Okay, see what is here. See what is here. It's saying Excel Online, Excel 2016 and Excel 2007.
Okay, your own is Excel.
No, he said Excel. I like you have three more than, or maybe
Okay,
is
what
it?
did he say?
He said Excel Online, another one Excel 2016, Excel 2007,
It
and
seems
like
like
three. Just show three.
you can't have. I would have said maybe you have apart from Excel Online. That one is different. But having you
Okay.
say 2007 and 2016, you can't have two Excel desktop running on your system at the same time. So I don't know. I
So
don't.
is it because I on my maybe is it because my data is on? So when I tap search Excel, it now shows me Excel and started showing me
It
another
only show
ones.
you the Excel that you have on your desktop. So
If I go
and you cannot have two versions on one system and one window. Understand? So I don't know. Maybe later we'll discuss that. I'll see. Maybe you show me your screen. I'll see that as well to understand clearly. Okay.
Okay, it's still showing the same thing again.
Later I will see that so you can see how we can troubleshoot that together.
All right.
So you can see the moment I press enter, you can see it throws a name error as if I made a mistake on the function because this particular version don't understand if function. So it saw the thing is as in it took it as if I made a mistake by adding that x on the if um function as if I wanted to write if function and now I made a mistake and put add x on it. That's why it threw a name error. I understand. Remember
Okay,
when I
but
taught
wait.
about error, how you
Yes.
can identify
Wait, when you type that IFS, does it give you what,
the
like,
options. He didn't
if,
because it's not available. Does your
okay,
own
my
give you
own
options?
showed, yes, it gave me option.
Okay, did you see IFS in the options?
Yes, and many others, yes.
Okay, that means it's available on your own. I think you're using Excel online or Excel for the web. That's why. Okay.
Uh,
So if it shows, if you select it and if you do it right, depending on if you have a data there that you are using to practice or why the class is going on. If you do it right, you get the result. Understand? Since you have it, maybe when I send you the hands-on practice, you can actually perform it on your own.
okay, okay.
So let me undo this because we don't need it anymore because of it's not available. Um, so let's see if function. The next thing we want to talk about is okay, if function with conditional formatting. Okay, so here you can combine the if function with conditional formatting. Remember when we talk about conditional formatting, you doing data cleaning. Okay, so you can combine if function and the conditional formatting to visually highlight important data in your spreadsheet. Okay, so conditional formatting allows you to automatically apply formatting like colors, fonts, or icons to cells based on their values. Okay, you want to that is why just like the name is a conditional formatting. You want to conditionally format a cell to look. You want to format a cell to look like how you want it based on a certain condition. That is why the name is conditional formatting. So it allows you to automatically apply this formatting, whether it is colors that you want to apply on that cell, if it met a certain condition, or font, you want to change the font, or you want to add an icon to that cell based on their values. Okay, so by combining this with the if function, you can highlight cells that meet specific criteria. Okay, so let's go back to Excel. So okay. So let's calculate the maybe let me see the data that I have available before we can see the one we can calculate. Units. So discount on the let me see okay. Let me insert a column before this MSRP stands for manufacturer suggested retail price. Okay, it will be too long, so I just use the abbreviation manufacturers suggested retail price, or I can equally edit it and just call it retail. Understand? Retail price so that it will not confuse you. Let me just call it retail price. Okay. So okay. So I want to add a column. So I want to see how you can. I want to demonstrate how you can use if function. You can combine if function and the conditional formatting. Okay, to calculate maybe the retention percentage for each this product is about cars, abi? So it's about type product line, okay, whether type of car, classic car or cycle and all of that. Okay, so you want to then highlight use a conditional formatting to highlight whether it is good or and the poor, good and poor retention values. Okay, so I will insert a column, okay, called retention. Let me do that. Let me insert a column here. Then right click and then insert. Then I'll call this column retention, sorry, retention in percentage, right? Then I press enter. Okay. Then I'll calculate the retention percentage using the formula. Okay, using the formula. So let's see a formula that I can do here. It's not function. Remember what I say. I'm going to use okay. Let me see if I will this particular column. Let me move it. Okay. Um let me see if I can should I move it or copy it? Let me cut it and I want to cut it uh, then put it here, not here. Then insert the cut cell. Let me put it here instead. Okay. So what I want to do here now, we want to find the retention, the percentage of the retention percentage. Okay. Then calculate the retention percentage using the formula. So that formula we want to use is what I want to do here. So since the formula we start with equal to, okay, the moment you start with equal to, it's all understood that you want to type a formula. Okay. So you here how you going to do this? You say this year resale value, the value that is here, okay, minus or divided. No, we are trying to find it divided by divided by this value. Okay. Then if I press enter, you see how it's actually formatted for me because I want to find the retention percentage. So then we will format the column as a percentage. Okay, we want to format this column as a percentage. So you go to home tab, then want to format it as a percentage, right? So it's 4% the moment we format it as a percentage. Okay. So let me copy it down first. Then I want to insert another column and I will call it retention rating. Okay. So let me insert another column. Then I'll call this one retention rating. Right. Then rating. Okay. All right. Okay. So then I'll use the if function to assign good or if the retention is greater than 69% and poor otherwise. Okay, so let me see. Instead of I think I will use if the retention is I don't have much data here. I actually remove some of the data from here. I just wanted to work with smaller data so that the loading time will not disturb me. And some of the information is no more available. So that's why I'm not having everything I want to use for this class. So I would say I'll use the in function to assign good if the retention is greater than maybe say is greater than 80, let me say 85. If it is greater than 85, because of the one we have available. So if you have in a situation whereby you have up to maybe you have a longer data set and you can find 50%, 60%, depending on which you can use any value that you want. So in this case, I want to use 85 as good, and anything that is um below 85 is poor. Okay, so let's see how that works. So I'll start now let's use first of all we use conditional formatting to select the retention rating. Okay. But before that, let me see if I can let me use the if function first. Let me see. Let me see if we do the if function first, then if you say if tab, then if this is greater than this thing has started again. Okay, is greater than 85%, right? Let's say it's greater than 85. Then what should we assign to it? Good, right? Otherwise, poor. Okay. So this one is, you can see, it's not up to 85%, so it says poor, right? Okay. So we have done this now. Now let's use conditional formatting to select the retention rating column to format the retention rating column. So let me copy it down first. Give me a moment. Let me copy it down. Okay. You can see almost everything is, why is it poor? I think or is it because I didn't add the percentage? Is greater than, okay, let me see if it works. If that's the problem. Let me copy it down again. Okay, I didn't add the percentage. So you see, Excel saw it as a different thing altogether. So you have to be careful when you are typing, okay? Or otherwise you have to debug the function later. So I want to use the conditional formatting, okay, to format this retention rating. So I will select the retention rating column, okay. Then I'll go to home tab. I'm in the home tab. Then you go to conditional format, okay. Then if I go to if you go to new rules, you can find new rules here, okay. Okay, let's go to the new rules. Okay, now inside the new rules, okay, you can choose format only cell that contain, format only cell. Okay, this is the rule we want to use. Format only cells that contain. Okay, then you select the specific text. You have to select the specific text and type good. Okay, so let me say the cell value between. Okay, you select the specific text, then you have to type good. Let me say um let me go to the cell. We are going to use the cell value. Okay, we are going to use the cell value. Then I have to type, let me type good here. Let me type good, good. Okay. Then the maybe between good and the what? Oh, let me see that works. Then I want to format it. Okay, if I click on this format, let me see. Is it between that? That's why I'm trying to make sure that I select the actual, wait, cancel. Let me see if you have more than option. Okay, okay, okay. Let me see how it works. So automatic. Let me go to fill. Which color would I like to use? Let me say green. And let me see if this works. Let me see if this works first. Okay, this one formats everything. This is not actually what I want. Let's go back to this again. Let me undo. Go to conditional formatting, new rules, formats, format cells that contain cells value. Okay, I will say specific. Oh, this is where I miss it. I will select specific cell. Okay, containing. You have to make sure it's containing. Okay, so I will now say good. This is where I miss it. I think I miss it. Then I want to format the color. Any cell that contains good, I will format it. Okay, and the fill, I want to fill it with fill color with, maybe because it is good. Let me use green. Let me use a thicker green. Let me use this, or let me use this instead. Then I'll click OK and I'll click OK again. Okay, you see. So any cell that meet the good condition, it will format it for me as good. Okay. Then if I want to format the ones that all the cells that are poor, I can also perform the same formatting. So I still have the rating retention rating selected. Then I'll go back to conditional formatting again, new rules, then select format cells that contain, then specific, not here, sorry, um, specific text. Now this is where I missed it. So that specific text is containing the word poor. So how do I want to format it? In this case, red, because poor actually red actually symbolize that something is poor, right? And green, something is positive. So let me use the red color here. So if I press enter, it will format all the cells that has the fill. If it is the font that I want to change the color, understand? I don't want to change the color, the fill, the background color. You can as well do that. Let me undo, so you can see how you can do that. You go to the conditional formatting, new rules, format cells that contains specific text, then that contain good. Then go to format because you want to format this. Then instead of the fill, maybe I want to format the font instead. And maybe I want to make the font, first of all, I want to make the font italic or bold, understand? Then if I want to change the color, I can come here as well and change the color to green. Then I can say okay. Then I can say okay. It will turn all the good green. You can do the same for if it is poor. Okay, you can do the same formatting. Let's just quickly do that. But I don't want us to waste much time on this. Then specific stuff containing poor. Then go to format. Um, Make it bold as well. And this red. This time this red. Okay. And then again, okay. You can see it has formatted it based on the way we want it to look like. If we want, we can be able to easily see if the rating is poor or good. The ones that is poor will be formatted as red. The ones that is good will be formatted as green. So this is how you can use both if function and the conditional formatting to format your data. Okay, so I hope you were able to understand what we did here about the conditional formatting. First of all, you have to use the if function to get the retention percentage, the retention rating. If the rating is met this criteria, show me good or poor. Then you will now use conditional formatting on it to highlight the cell how you want it to look like, or to format the cell how you want it to look like. I hope you understand.
Yes.
Okay. So the next thing we want to talk about is the count if function. Okay. The count if function counts the number of cells within a range that meet a specific criteria. Okay. So count if is useful for counting things like the number of orders from a specific customer. You want to count number of orders from a specific customer. Okay, the number of product in a certain category or any other count based on a condition. Okay, so you are going to learn how you can use the count if function to do this. Okay, so I don't know if we continue, or I think this class we have been in this class like over 1 hour, right? Or let me just finish it up. Let's finish it up.
Yes.
Let's finish it up. Ah, let's just finish it up.
How
So,
long?
sorry.
How long is it gonna take more to finish it?
We have um, after this county function, we have, let me say, 5, 4, 5. We have like 5, 6 more slide to teach. Like we are going to after the count if we discuss the lookup functions. I mean to say the H lookup and the V lookup. After the count if function, this then we talk about sum if, then we also talk about the lookup functions. So I don't know if we should treat this in our next class, starting with the count if, then